Hello, this is Kane Richardson.
Hi, I'm Ben Dunk, and you are listening to the Dubai Capitals podcast. Kane, it's been 15 years since you made your T20 debut for South Australia at the Gabba. How much has the game evolved in these years?
It's been 15 years, Dunky.
You're old, man.
Well, the game has evolved massively. I was watching some footage the other day of like old BBL, and like we were playing
Peak BBL.
peak BBL, but we were young, and like some of the fields and stuff, man, like you couldn't do that anymore. The game's just gotten better every year. Everyone's just getting better and better, and the new generation coming in are just taking it to a new level as well. As we've seen from like Jake Fraser McGurk, those kind of kids coming through, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? Like,
It is. It's scary to think how far the game's come in those 15 years, and maybe in 15 years' time where it might be.
Yeah,
Pretty exciting times.
it'd be good to watch. Like as a fan, when we're done, it'd be nice to sit back and watch these bowlers go about their work against blokes who are just trying to hit sixes every single ball.
So you're a big cricket watcher? You'll continue to watch?
No, I'll watch at night, like on the couch.
Oh,
with a
right.
beer,
Fair.
I won't be waking up at 2 a.m. to catch the latest franchises that's going on. But you, Dunky, you already played with the Capitals family for the India Capitals last year. How easy is it to play with the coaching setup you already work with? I'll ask that again. How easy is it to play with the coaching setup you have already worked with?
Yeah, it's always nice, I think, to go into an environment that you're somewhat familiar with. I think part of the challenges of franchise cricket is going in to different environments over and over again, and trying to make those bonds and gain the trust of the coaching staff and of your teammates. So it is nice to come into an environment where you know a lot of the people, a lot of the management, and a lot of the coaching staff, and we're really fortunate here that we have so many overseas guys, I guess, that we've all played either with or against each other for a long period of time. So it's a unique kind of team and tournament, and I think the guys are coming together really well.
I'll ask you another question that we missed, and it's at the top. It's how much are you enjoying the ILT20?
Well, I just touched on it there. Things are going really well. Obviously, the last couple of games we would have liked to get a better result. But, one of the things I do love about franchise cricket is that you get to go away and get to know different people and spend a lot of time with different people. And even yourself, we've played against each other for a long period of time, but this is probably the most time that we've actually spent sharing a dressing room together. So that's the great thing about franchise cricket, and I'm sure all young people coming through and older people will certainly embrace that in the future. Richie, one of the most difficult jobs in T20s is bowling the death overs. How do you prepare yourself for that, especially when there might be a short side?
Well, it's the game. I think like you just know every single game there's going to be a point where you're going to be under a lot of pressure. So it's a really good question. It's probably something that you change every now and again when it's not working. You try and prepare in a different way. But I think at the end of the day, like guys will do a lot of data and look at footage and wagon wheels and all past history. But then other guys will just be like, well, I'm just going to back my own skills and kind of keep a calm head and use the ground dimensions. I think that has been the biggest evolution in the last couple of years. Is most of the time we play on grounds that have a really tiny boundary, so you kind of get limited in your options as a bowler at the end. As you know, when you're facing someone to a short boundary, it's the easiest way to hit sixes is to that boundary. So you basically try and play your game around that. But yeah, it's mainly preparation is done at training, really physical, and then in the game you just got to try and keep a calm, clear head and execute your skill.
And are you a data person, or is it more instincts?
I'm not really data at all, like, to be honest. I know we have team meetings and every team's different. Like, coaches will believe in bowlers meetings and team meetings, and then other coaches they won't at all. Like, It's up to you. It's your career. So I'm not someone who does lean on that much, but if there's someone I've never played, or one of these young kids have come out of nowhere that I haven't seen before, I'll have a look. But otherwise, we play against everyone so much, don't we?
I think also ultimately you have to continue to do what you do well, if that makes sense. I think one of the challenges is when you do have a lot of data or you're coming up against a lot of different teams, it can actually be a bit overwhelming in terms of what's the right thing to do. And I think often the right thing to do is just what you individually do best.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not a very good Yorker bowler,
Yeah.
probably don't try and bowl
Yeah.
Yorkers
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
death.
yeah.
Or if you're not a good reverse sweeper, it's probably not the best
Yeah.
option. I think sometimes in a data-driven environment, as a player, you can actually go further away from what you do well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dunky, well, in the same year, I think that I debuted, you made your T20 debut at the same venue, the Gabatoir. Is that right?
I think it is, yeah. It's an interesting story, actually. I was on a rookie contract.
For Queensland?
For Queensland. Grew up in Queensland. It was a childhood dream to play for Queensland. And it was going into the Christmas time, which is when the old Big Bash used to be. And I actually thought I was on holidays, to be fair, because Chris Hartley, who was the wicketkeeper at the time, had his spot sort of sewn up, and so I was in a very festive mood when I got a phone call to say that Chris had actually broken his finger in the last Shield game leading up to Christmas, which I didn't know, and that I'd be playing. So I quickly had to get my head around that, and it was great memories of that first, the late Andrew Simons, who was also a childhood hero, played in that team as well, and pretty special times, I guess, when you look back.
Yeah. Did you open that game? Because the next question is you've played different roles as an opener or a middle order player, and the question is how challenging is that to adapt? But did you start as an opener?
I did start as an opener, actually. Yeah, I did. First game was against, now if I think about it, looking back, was against Victoria, and they had Dirk Nennes opening the bowling. And my goodness, I'd never seen anything like that before. Club cricket cannot prepare you to be batting at the Gabba with Dirk Nennes steaming in. But I got through it, and, I guess back to your question in terms of opening or middle order, I opened a lot early days of my career and probably had most of my success there. But towards the back end, I shifted into the middle order, and I actually found it really enjoyable. Yeah, I think sometimes as an opening batsman, you can just sort of cut and paste the same game plan, the same. I mean, things change a little bit now with 4-over power plays and that kind of thing, but ultimately, you can find a method and you can sort of stick to it. Whereas the middle order, the game's always on your bat, which is pretty exciting. I think you have an opportunity to hit the winning runs sort of almost every game. And within a tournament, your role can change completely. You can go from having to score at 12s from ball one to maybe just getting a little 10 not out or 15 just to make sure you win the game. And that's something I've always been, is a team first player. So trying to model and adapt, or mould, and adapt to those situations is refreshing.
But you find that hard, you say it's more enjoyable, but definitely harder than opening the batting?
Absolutely, 100% harder. I have absolute admiration for some of those guys, like an MS Dhoni or someone like that who's done it their whole career, and their ability just to stay nice and calm. Certainly challenging, a lot more challenging, both skillfully, like for your skills, and mentally as well. Because ultimately, there's a good chance that you could go through a tournament and your highest score might be 15, but you've actually had a pretty good tournament, and got your team over the line a couple of times. So, really challenging, but I guess that's what we enjoy about it.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Rich, one spell for you to look back and say, "Wow, what have I done here?" Let's go both good and bad. You'd have plenty. You'd have plenty of good ones. No, stop it. As one of the best in the world, you'd have plenty of both. Let's go good, but also a time where it was a little bit challenging.
We'll stick to T20. There's been plenty of ones where you wouldn't look at the scorecard and be like, he took maybe 2 for 30 or something. But in the games where the opposition's gone at 12s,
yes.
So I try and think back. There was a game at Eden Park we played against New Zealand, and they made 250, I reckon. And Martin Guptill was going ballistic, bowling in the power play to him and Colin Munro. They're going nuts. And then basically they just kept going. Guppy made a huge 100. They made 250, and I think I walked off with like 2 for 38 or something.
Right.
And
Good
like,
day at the office.
and I was like, took my hat from the umpire when I bowled my 24th ball and was the happiest man to just get out of that game. Yeah. So you always look at games like that where like the opposition's just gone, nuts, and you've tried your best to kind of quell the momentum.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then in the Big Bash as well, there's been a few like that as well. But I mean, talking on the bad side, the days where on the flip side the team keeps them to 170, 180, but you've somehow found a way to go for 55 or 60, and you're like, hang on a second, everyone else has gone at 6 here. But I guess like that's the ultimate art of T20 cricket, batting and bowling, is the highs and lows. You can't really, you got to stay somewhere in the middle because
it's a great leveler. I think the ability to stay somewhere here is a real skill.
It actually is, and like we talk about young kids coming through, that's probably the greatest challenge.
Yeah,
isn't
absolutely.
It? Like,
absolutely.
Because you can sit back and you sleep badly after that performance, but then when you actually sometimes look back at it, you go, well, I haven't bowled that. I haven't strayed too far from what I wanted to do. It's just one of those things. A little bit goes against you. A guy's on a heater, and all of a sudden it ticks up pretty quick. So
absolutely, and I think also what gets forgotten sometimes by fans and management is that we're just people. We're not robots.
Yeah.
Although you might be trying to bowl a Yorker, that might not come out perfectly, or it might, and he still might ramp you for 6.
Yeah, exactly.
And whilst you're trying your best to do your job, he's also trying his best to do his.
Absolutely, and he's allowed to do it better.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think ultimately that's probably what it's about, is just doing your job.
Yeah.
Doing it well.
Yeah, it's a good call. Where are we?
We're getting deep. Well, I can feel the eye contact really growing.
We're forming a bond here. We're bonding. The question for you is looking back at your numbers. So we're talking numbers here.
They wouldn't read pretty, I don't think.
What is with you a 99 not out? So for a bit of context, you finished twice 99 not out in successful chases, which is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a bit about that. Would you wish the opposition scored a few more?
It's probably a goal of mine, actually, at some stage, just score a T20 100, which I haven't. But, 299 not outs. I mentioned before that I consider myself like a team first sort of person. So the first one was in South Africa, and we chased down maybe 170, 180, really difficult wicket, like sticking in it, and I managed.
Doing everything.
Just doing everything. No, but I actually remember Rula Vandermeer was bowling the...
So you're playing in the South African League.
South African domestic competition, the Zamzi League,
the old
one before the SA-T20. Great league it was. But we'd broken the back of it, and I think I was on... must have been maybe on 98, and Ruloff's bowling. We need
current team, mate.
Yeah, we need one to win. And I was kind of looking around, hoping that they might bring the field up just so you could knock it through and get before. But it was the last over, and I was conscious that strange things happen in cricket, so I didn't want to take it on either, if that makes sense. Or, I didn't want to try and hit a 6 in case, I got out another wicket, before you know it, we've bottled the chase. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll hit it as hard as I can and hope that it gets into a gap, and the fielder will give up on it and we'll go for it. We'll get out 2 anyway. So Ruloff, I think, bowled like this absolute pie full toss. And I've hit it straight to AB de Villiers, I think it was, at deep mid-wicket, who, absolute gun in the field, ran in, picked it up and threw it in. It's 99 8 with shaking heads. So, like I said, really good memories, but it would have been nice to probably have ticked that milestone off at some stage, and hopefully I will it in the near future.
Where was the other one?
The other one was playing for the Lahore Qalandars in the PSL. And this is one I probably didn't manage that well, but I was on a bit of a heater. And I think I maybe, 93 8 wickets in hand, probably could not lose. And I think we needed 4 to win or something like that. And if I, in hindsight, could have managed it, I could have gone 1-1-1 and then hit a boundary and probably got it. But they were a bowler short, so Cam Delport was bowling the last over, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is nice. So they hit the first ball for 6, shook hands with a 99 not out. I looked up and I was like,
So your management,
my game management was poor.
Hopefully you present, you get another opportunity.
Yeah, hopefully we do.
You got to get to the top of the order.
Ultimately, though, like, no one really cares.
And it's a good story, isn't it?
Yeah, and I used to, when I was younger, used to get hung up on stats. When you've played just a few games, you can actually see your average and your strike rate fluctuate quite a lot. Yeah. And I used to get hung up on, obviously trying to increase my average and increase my strike rate and all the rest of it. And ultimately, what I've learned over the years is actually no one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares how many 50s you've got. No one cares about how many 100s you've scored. Nobody cares how many fifers. I think what people remember is how you made them feel when you were playing. And hopefully the people who have watched me play at some stage have got some joy out of that. And I hope that's what you're remembered by rather than 50s or 100s or whatever it might be.
Very, very honourable. We're getting deep here.
We are deep. We're deep. And should we do one more? Let me get one more for Richie. Let's have a look.
There's a few good ones here.
Is there? Right. Okay. What about? There must be a batter that you've found most difficult to bowl to across your career. Like, just one guy, and I'm sure it's the same as bowlers, but sometimes as batters, you sort of look through a team list and you're like, he's playing.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 or 3 or 4 in every team. Oh no, he's playing. Like in this competition as well, you pull up to the game.
Oh yeah, this
and
is
you're like, different, you go through the team list, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, with the 9 overseas, everyone's stacked.
So how good are these blokes? Look, like the obvious answers are always like the greats, like Gale, De Villiers, Coley. Funny they were in the same team. But it was always the guys, I reckon, like...
A bit sore before that game.
Definitely.
Especially Heavy's blowing up.
But the guys who, like, kind of flew under the radar that may not have been the ones... So, like, when you bowl into a Coley or a De Villiers, there's an expectation, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're expected to take you down.
Yeah,
but it's like the guys... Saying, it's like there's been guys... I won't name names, but there's guys in, like, the bat and middle overs that... You talk about stats, you're like, the stats aren't great. They don't strike that high. Like, I think I can, get away with this one. And then they'll just, every single time you bowl to them,
tear them down.
Like, for some reason, like, everyone else can bowl and they'll strike at 100. And then all of a sudden you come on and it's like,
find the
like, striking at 180. It's like, what is going on here? Why me? And honestly, there's been like 4 or 5 guys that stick in my head, mainly in the BBL. And it's so odd. It's cricket, I guess. Like, and it'd be the same as a batter. It's like some guys you just feel like you can never score a run off, or they just get you out.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I had one big bash, and you'd remember this. We played the Renegades, and Mohammed Nabi opened the bowling, and first ball of the game, he's bowled beautiful off spinner. I went forward, it spun, clipped the top of off stump, so I'm out. First ball of the game, walk off. Next game at Marvel, I'm thinking, right, Nabi's going to open the bowling again. Let's not make the same mistake. Bowls the same off spinner. Skids on, hits me in the shin.
Both ways.
Out. And I'm thinking, this guy's a genius for a start. But also I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to get a run? And then that year, I think, was the final at Marvel. And I remember on the bus, like, getting sweaty palms. Going to the bus, knowing that we're playing a final, and I hadn't scored a run.
So you're 0 from 2.
0 from 2. So I played 2 games there. And I remember I was on the mic speaking to, I think it was maybe Gilly or someone like that. And he's like, oh, mate, what's your preparation been like? And, are you excited? And, and I remember thinking in my head, it's like, I wonder if these guys know I have not scored a run at this ground. Literally not a single run. And, I think you might have opened the bowling.
So Nabi wasn't there.
Nabi didn't bowl.
Didn't play.
He didn't. That's right. He didn't play in the...
Because he definitely would have bowled first.
1 for none.
We'll never know.
He could have rolled it down, mate. At that stage, I was mentally fried. But I do remember...
I looked after you.
You did. You bowled a sort of a length ball wide, and I think I nicked it over
third man was up.
Four. Was it for 4?
4. In the chase as well. Big start.
That's how rattled I was.
You were away. I looked after you there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's okay.
Hey, and I'll ask you one.
All right, go for it.
Well, we talked enough about cricket.
Yeah.
What about outside of cricket? Talk to me about the Ben Dunk outside of cricket. What are your hobbies or interests that you enjoy?
I'm a golf nuffy, but that's such a boring one.
Well, most cricketers are.
Yeah, and I mean, we're here in Dubai, and obviously the golf courses here are absolute top level, so a quick shout out to all of those.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning into the pod. They are amazing. But finishing my MBA, so I've got 3 subjects left on the Masters, which will hopefully help me post-cricket. I'm not sure how yet, but hopefully that will do it. And to be honest, I guess I spent a lot of time on FaceTime here to the family. You know, we went Pokemon card shopping the other day.
For your little man.
For my little boy, 6-year-old. Shout out, Billy.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in the pod. But yeah, we went looking for Pokemon cards. Look, I'm a pretty simple guy. I like being around people. I like being around positive people. I sometimes find, you know, the negativity can almost suck your energy a little bit. So I like to get out and spend time around people. And yeah, that's about it. What about you? Hobbies, interests? What are you getting up to outside of cricket here in Dubai?
I don't play golf, so my options are a lot more limited. So I'm one of like the 5 cricketers on earth that probably don't play golf. So a lot of sitting by the pool, the beautiful pool here, coffees, jump in the taxi or an Uber and go into town, but very quiet days.
Favourite coffee shop here in Dubai?
What's the one in JBR we've gone to?
Common Grounds.
Thanks
for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.
Australian, very Australian flavoured.
Come from the land down
under. Down under. So we kind of feel a little bit at home. But yeah, when I'm at home, bit of gardening, like get my hands dirty. Bit of a green thumb.
What's your...
Love my houseplants. I'm missing them at the moment.
Any veggies? Do you get veggies going?
Got some tomatoes going with my young fella in the summer just gone. So some little cherries. So
well done.
We'll look at that next year. But yeah, that, and obviously we have children, Dunky, so not a lot of time for hobbies or interests. It's mainly work, cricket.
That's right, and kids.
Dad.
And kids, yeah.
So, but that takes up our time.
Yeah. If you were a superhero, Richie, what would your power be on the field? Say anyone.
If I was a superhero but played cricket?
Yeah, I think you have to use it on the field. Well,
that's a good question because there's numerous things that come to mind. Invisibility would be pretty nice in the field. Be like, where's that guy? They've only got...
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, where is he fielding? And then it's like, oh, there's a gap. It's like, oh, he's there.
No, he's there, right. Sorry, I thought you meant invisibility is in like...
Is he here?
Yeah, that's right.
He's not on the bus.
Yeah, that's right. Is he here?
Is he turning up today? No, I think... But the best answer would be like speed, superhero speed, or flight, flash, either one.
Because I was thinking like flash, I could just like... As soon as I make contact with the ball,
you're never getting run out.
100.
Yeah, 101 ball.
100, they wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you probably could just knock it to cover.
Get that stat ticked off.
That would probably, well, I mean, that has to be the one, doesn't it? Tick it off. You would have got it off the last ball, wouldn't you? You would have ran too easy. But like flight's not really doing much for us. Super strength, I mean,
well, it'd be nice to be able to compete with Rovman, Dre Russ, all that guys with the super strength, but I mean, I think that gets overplayed a little bit.
Yeah.
I think sometimes what happens is that the West Indian boys don't get enough credit for the actual skill that they have.
Yeah, they're not just because anyone can
beasts,
hit the gym and.
Well, they are athletic beasts, but
it's more than strength because anyone can
100%,
anyone can hit the gym.
Everybody always says, "Oh, well, it must be easy for them because they've got so much strength." It's like, well, they've got so much skill as well, and their ability to actually use the strength in a proper bat swing is
cricket strength, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Like, it annoys me.
Yeah, there's genius to it, isn't there? But I think speed. To answer that question. Would you'd say the same?
I think speed. Yeah. I'd like to tick off.
most relevant, isn't it, to
Speed.
cricket? Good in the field. Deep mid-wicket.
Unbelievable in the field. Probably wouldn't get super sub then.
You'd be 20 out
I'd have
there.
to do 20.
You'd have to look after the body,
imagine
though.
long
wouldn't
on to long on, though. Done.
you? Done.
And if everybody on the field had it,
Oh, you'd never hit, like...
but it could be, like, the game could be over in an hour.
Well, you'd
We'd have
never...
no over
yeah,
8
true.
fines.
No over 8 fines. You'd never hit fours, because, like... You'd go down the lap, and I'd be at, like, long on, and I'd be like... Phew.
Richie, you don't want to hit fours, man. You can run as fast as you can.
True.
You just got to hit it. And do,
But it's just,
like,
imagine
what
the
are you
crowd
doing?
watching it. It'd be like, what is going on? Can't see anything. There's just blurs everywhere.
Last one. If you were not a cricketer, what would you be?
Oh, I've been asked that basically since becoming a cricketer because, it's very important to...
Backup plan.
Got to have a backup
Gotta have
plan,
a backup
especially
plan,
being a
Rich.
bowler,
Gotta have a
Kane.
backup plan.
Can happen very easily. You could get injured tomorrow and you won't play again. Look, to be honest, if I didn't play cricket, I have no idea what I would have done. But if I was to give the game away tomorrow, what would I do?
Yeah.
I'd love to be involved in sport, and not just cricket, in sport. I'd love, like, when I'm sitting in my room, I'm watching, basketball,
Yeah.
AFL, whatever's on. I love sport, right?
So,
the competitiveness, the
admin,
management.
like
Yeah,
sport
I don't
admin
know.
sort
I'm
of-
probably... not coaching.
I could see you as a list manager for the Gold
List
Coast
manager with a
Suns.
nice set of glasses,
Get the
clipboard,
binoculars out,
binoculars
in the summer
out,
training.
scouting.
Yeah, I could
Just
see
telling everyone how easy it was back in
100%.
No, but like
Yeah.
in some capacity involved in sport, and probably more, if anything, younger, like junior levels.
Yeah.
I think like seeing kids get better, and,
Yeah.
and seeing kids who like... The funny thing is when you get a bit older and you've been around the game a long time, you can take things for granted, whereas when you're a kid, it's like you want to be there every single
we
time.
spoke about this
don't
the
you?
other day.
Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah. The more that you sort of do anything, I think
Yeah.
sometimes you can really take it for granted. But
So
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
but then I could also see myself, like I said before, I could be in the garden, I could be on the wheelbarrow, I could be mowing lawns, I could be trimming, hedges. I
maybe a
could
little
just
Jim's
be
mowing franchise.
Jim's mowing
Shout
franchise.
out Jim.
Look at this hotel; it's perfectly looked. I'm inspired being here. I'm
is.
watching these janitors and these these maintenance. It's incredible.
Yeah, it
I'm
is
inspired every single day I get out of bed. So
It is amazing.
either one of those things,
Okay.
I'll be happy. What about yourself?
It's a good question because I never really thought I would be a cricketer.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a carpenter, actually.
Really?
For a long time, yeah. My uncle sort of worked in and around carpentry, building, and
Yeah.
I still consider myself somewhat of a handyman. My wife would say that it's not true.
That's not true.
But I've got all
That's
the tools.
what you think.
I've got tool belt, everything. I'm ready.
Can you use a drill? Yes.
Of course I can.
That's,
Of course I can.
that's all you need.
If I was not a cricketer, what would I be? Good question, because everybody tells you growing up. Shout out to Mr. Gilbert, my high school year 10 teacher, who told me that, hey, that was a bad choice, dreaming to be a cricketer.
It's not going to work
And
out.
yet here I am in Dubai, Mr. Gilbert.
Who's talking now?
That's right.
Huh? Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning into the pod. If I wasn't a cricketer, I would be...
It's hard to answer, isn't it?
It is. Do you know, it's interesting. I was listening to what you were saying before about coaching young kids. I coached Billy's under-6 soccer team last year. And, I don't really know much about soccer, but I don't work Wednesdays and they they train on Wednesdays. So, there I was, coaching the soccer, putting the cones out, cutting the oranges.
Doing everything.
But the boys, just to see their progress, because it's a great age, under sixes, or when they're 5 or 6,
Yeah.
because there's a good chance that none of them have played soccer before.
Yeah.
Potentially none of them have kicked a soccer ball, so they're all starting from such a low level.
Yeah.
And so you get this really cool, over 6 months, you get this really cool trajectory of like their development, both as little people, but also as soccer players. And it was so rewarding. It really was. I'd never really thought about coaching as a career option, but to see the kids and to see how excited they were when they won. We won 3 out of 15, so I might be sacked this season. But to see how excited they were, for the little things, and how excited they got for each other when they actually scored a goal and they celebrated, was awesome. It was almost, to be honest, the Saturday mornings were the favourite, which was game day. Game day. Game face on, baby.
Yeah. All that prep,
That
all
was
the week
the,
prep,
that's right.
building up for that.
That was almost my my highlight of my week, is like seeing the boys go and watching them. Challenging, super challenging.
Yeah,
but,
I can imagine.
Really cool. So
Yeah, that's nice.
the boys will be back under 6s, under 7s this year. Hopefully we can have, a more successful
And you're
campaign.
involved again?
Well,
You haven't got invited back to coach yet? You haven't?
they haven't tendered it out yet. It's funny, though, because I said to Billy, without getting too deep, but I said to him, Bud, if you don't want me to coach, it's okay as well. Like, if you want one of the other dads or mums to coach. Because I was I think naturally I was a bit harder on my own son than I am on the other kids.
Yeah.
So sort of also conscious to make sure he gets a free run at being crazy every now and again.
Yeah, he can be himself.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but and he turned to me and he's like, no, you have to coach. You're our soccer coach, and that made me feel, pretty special.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
let's go. Under 7s this year. Let's go.
I'm checking the papers every Sunday morning.
I'll give
for the
updates
results.
on the gram.
There you go. Follow.
Give it a follow. Richie, I think that comes to the end of the Dubai Capitals podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Brought to you by... Mate, thanks so much. Some great answers.
We good?
Good.
We're good. It's a pleasure.